Vaping out with you, and I've got a product review for you tonight. Tonight, I'm reviewing a clone of the real one, which is actually a better quality than the real one I played with. It's made by Infinite, and I've heard nothing but complaints about this one. Not the clone, but the actual piece and the other clones that are out there. Let's see if you can figure it out. The voltage drop is horrible. It's too fat. The button is crunchy. The button is tough. Put magnets in it, it makes it worse. You probably figured out I'm talking about the Hades. The big, giant 26650 Hades. That is still a pretty logo on the base. Very well machined. We got a Patriot on top of it. Voltage drop? Haven't had that much problem. I'm using a Sony 50 amp battery in here. With Patriots at 0.12. So I'm hitting it with about 4.2 volts. Which, if I was hitting it with 6 volts, I'd be sitting right at 300 watts. So roughly 4.2 volts should be between about 250 and 275 without the voltage drop. But I did a minor adjustment to mine, and it hits like a champ. Show you what I'm talking about. If you wonder what I did, I'll show you the breakdown and we'll go from there. But one sec. I have to say, I have an Infinite Panzer, I have an Infinite Hades. The threads on this are smooth. I'll cover that again in the epi closely portion of it. But for being a big guy, I like it. I mean, I have big hands. I can make this thing almost disappear in my whole hand. Yeah, you can still see the base at the top, at the bottom. But for 26650, I'm kind of impressed. And I know that everyone's complaining about the voltage drop. There is a fix for it. Don't worry, it gets you about 0.15, 0.2 volts back. It's a very, very simple adjustment. I'll show you in the epi closely. Let's go. Okay, here's the breakdown of the Hades. So you've got your base that you remove, your button in it, your top. Now you can actually pull this piece out of it. Okay, now this piece actually comes apart as well. Now this is where you get rid of your voltage drop. That pin is fine, but that little spring right there, that little bitty thing right there, take it out. Don't use it. That will save you a lot of trouble. So for your pin here, take and drop it back in there, or run it without it. Either way, you can do it that way if you want, or you can take it apart. Either way. So put it in there, screw it in a couple times, stick it back in. It'll still drop out, still come out. You won't really use it for contact anymore, but either way. Button wise, just take this button apart, show you what I'm talking about. Alright, here is your contact for the base of your battery. That right there. You got threads on both sides, so you can actually thread it in here. Now, as for your spring will not look like this. Notice mine's a little misshapen because I've taken and stretched it out. And stretched out this bottom ring. The reason why is because when it goes in here, it fits the entire base very easily. By doing so, you automatically make it so that it is an easier press. You notice it's not hitting the sides anymore. Your base, locking ring, everything else, of course, is reverse threaded. You might want to take yours off, clean it if you have a chance. Either way. Very smooth, very well done. Let's put her back together, see how she does, and go from there. Now, one thing I was real impressed with was actually how well they did on the machining. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know it's a clone, but the normal Fatoon isn't quite as well done. The threads are a little crunchy. With these threads, I mean, They're sometimes so smooth you have to find just the right spot on them. See, it's back in there. We put our giant 26650 back in there. Sure, our locking ring, and that is up close with the Hades. Fully broken down, fully put back together. Now, I know you might not be too impressed with how it looks or how it goes together, and I'm sorry about what I said on the bottom contact that is threaded on both sides. That was a mistake on my part. I meant that it was threaded on one side with grips on the other to get hold of it, which is kind of a nice feature. But I mean, really, it's a solid mod. If you can pick up a clone of it, if you get the Infinite or the Tobacco, remember, take out your spring. That will fix your problems infinitely. I mean, man, I kind of like it. Don't get me wrong. It's probably huge to a more normal person, but I like the 26650. Plus, it'll run a 0.12 for 3 hours easily before it gets down below 3.7. But man, I don't have a single 18650 that'll last more than 30-45 minutes with it. This is 3500 milliamp Sony with a 50 amp output on here. I mean, this thing punches, and I mean punches. It does well. I mean, I love it. This thing's awesome. It's not a hot vape though. That's what's awesome about it. Even though it's 0.12, my hands are, this thing is warm. I mean, warm. That's how I've broken a lot of juices. But this is actually cool. And I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm not even getting anything out of it because it's really cool vape. And a lot of people say, well, it's because the voltage dropped. No, I'm still getting the same amount of cloud that I was out of a 30 amp battery, out of an 18650. I'm still getting the same cloud, but I'm just not heating up my mod like crazy on this one. I'm digging it. If you don't like it, I understand, but I mean, it's a great mod in my opinion. Now, I got mine through a group buy. You can do yours through the same. You can go pick some up from some shops. You can get them roughly between probably 60 to 90 bucks. 26650. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to vape? If you put a 0.5 on this, if you're love to drip and you want to just carry it over with you, 0.5 will last you easily 4 hours, no problem. What other battery do you have that do that? None. That's the great thing about 26650. Now, there's a lot of people like people Sardo, Dimitri, they're talking about this is the year of the 26650. Even Rick Trippers is starting to say it. I agree. I mean, it's going to be big, yeah. But the great thing is that you're going to be able to carry it with you, not have to carry 3 or 4 batteries with you, and run with it. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for hearing me out. Vape out.